I'd rather do soccer because it just makes me feel happier. My inspiration for soccer was Lionel Messi because he's small like me, but even though he's small, he still can beat a lot of people, and he usually helps the team to win most of the games. I started playing soccer when my friend Michaela invited me to go to her tryout on Sunday. She picked me up from church and she brought me to the tryout, and I really enjoyed it, but the coaches said that I wasn't good enough. So they said that I can play for a lower team, which was the U11 team, and it was fun with all the girls, but I didn't think it was challenging enough for me, so then I moved to GPS.
So Global Premier Soccer is a soccer organisation that's been running now for at least 15 years throughout the US. We've actually been located 5 years now in Buffalo, Western New York. It's a soccer organisation that focuses on kids from 8 to 18, boys and girls. The picture we're looking to do is get these kids into college soccer. If not, ideally, if we could get them in the professional game, that'd be fantastic. But our main focus is to develop them from a young age, gradually sort of nurture them, teach them all the right processes, and then once they hit that sort of age where they can start looking at colleges, we'll look to guide them and sort of point them in the right direction and make sure that hopefully some of them get to go and play at that next level.
The way that Global Premier Soccer is able to provide these girls a better platform for success than other clubs in the area is our coaches are all full-time coaches. So they all have vast experience in playing at a very high level and from coaching at a very high level as well. The majority of our coaches are all from overseas. We're all from Europe, so we all grew up with soccer as our first choice sport, our first love. And we've a real great passion for it, and we've been lucky to coach back in our home countries, at a very good level. We've learned from a lot of great coaches and mentors along the way as well. And the fact that we're full-time coaches, which very few other coaches and clubs in the area are able to provide that to their players, I think that gives us definitely an advantage in terms of the care and the detail, the attention to detail that we can provide the girls in practice. So again, I don't think anybody else in the area can say they can really compete with that in terms of the care that we can give. So I think that's something that we take pride in ourselves, that we're able to provide that. And again, in the past, we have had girls from our club locally here in Buffalo, New York, have had the opportunity to go to Bayern Munich on a trip where they've been able to practice with the FC Bayern Munich academy team. They've been to Seberstraße, where the FC Bayern Munich first team and all their academy teams train. They've been coached by FC Bayern Munich coaches, and they've got the experience, that elite professionalism firsthand. And I know for a fact there's no clubs in the area that can offer that.
I like GPS because compared to Lockport, it's a big step ahead, and it helped me to improve my skills a lot more.
I first met Rebecca it was actually in the Keenan Centre in Lockport. It was back in spring training, I think 2 years ago. As a club now, we would provide coaches to go and help with local travel clubs and town teams with their training. So with Lockport, we used to have this relationship where we would do some spring training with them. We would come in and coach a lot of their kids in the spring. And Rebecca was involved in that training for the first time now. And it was her father, Dominic, actually approached me after the practice. I think it might have even been during the practice, where he approached me and just kind of introduced himself and told me who Rebecca was now and a little bit about his background and Rebecca's background. So Rebecca would have been very young at the time. Rebecca would have been only 10 or 11.
Right off the bat, my first impression of Rebecca was that she was very passionate about soccer. She had a love for the game that stood above and beyond any of the other girls. She was naturally talented.
My first interaction with Rebecca was actually at a local soccer camp, which we used to run, and I think she was sort of 9, 10, running around, just this little girl. And then as we started building relationships, we noticed that she had some talent. And then not last year, the year before, we actually invited her along to try out for GPS. When she came along, we saw that she had potential, and was a talented young player, just needed nurturing now in the right direction. So we brought her into our program, and for that ever since, she's just develops as a player and just continues to grow. And, you know, it looks like if she can keep on this path, she's going to have a bright future playing.
When Rebecca began training for Lockport, it was evident that she had already had previous training for GPS, and it gave her knowledge of the game that stood above any other players at her level. She was able to see the field, she knew basic skills, passing, shooting, different positioning that other girls hadn't already learned at that point.
GPS provide at least up to 5 hours worth of coaching a week, which doesn't really sound a lot, and to be honest, it isn't. I mean, we give them the fundamentals, what they require, what we tell our players if they are looking to get to that next level, if they really do want to go and play college soccer, they need to be playing 2-3 hours a day at least. I mean, you've heard of the 10,000 hour rule, I'm sure, and whether that is legitimate or not, you know, you tend to see the players that succeed are the ones that are training more often, but not just training, getting the right type of training. So when they come to us, we try and guide them, and then what we do is give them extra stuff to take home.
We want to ensure girls have the right tools, have the right environment to be successful.
My best experience in soccer so far was on a Sunday when Coach Ryan told me that I can go to an ID tryout, and it was just a really fun time because a lot of the girls cared more than the actual team that I was on, so it kind of challenged me more, and it was a lot of fun.
In regards to the Bayern Munich ID program, they're looking for a certain player. She never made the Bayern Munich ID camp. Don't take rejection as a bad thing. Make that strive you to be a better player. And I actually see that within Rebecca, that even the last 6 months, she obviously recently did another ID session, and she showed that she was willing to come back and give it a good go, and I think she showed very well, which was the feedback I got from the Bayern Munich ID coaches. And for me, it's just don't take no as a rejection.
I do enjoy coaching Rebecca. What I enjoy most about her is she has that passion. She really loves the game. She loves playing, and she has that almost a tenacity to her that is very hard to come by.
Her personality, first of all, is something that the girls love being around. She's a great team player. The girls enjoy looking up to her, girls of all ages. We had 10th graders who really looked up to Rebecca. She was able to always give her best effort, 100% effort all the time. If we were losing games or we were winning games by a lot, she knew that she would always give 100% no matter what, which was something that all the girls looked up to.
We look at soccer now and we talk about technical attributes. That's the main focus at this age, and she's certainly got a lot of technical ability. You know, she's a student of the game. She's probably progressed in the last 2 years more than any player I've seen, and if she can continue to develop in that way, certainly going to a Division 1, Division 2 school.
Well, my best game and my best memory was when I scored from a corner kick at a GPS game, because I was just happy because not a lot of people can do that.
Rebecca has a great mind for the game. She always works hard, and she's always positive when she's there. Rebecca's style of play now focuses a lot around her strengths. I've said before, her strengths are her passion and that tenacity that she has. So she's a very competitive girl. So I think her style of play focuses around that in terms of when she plays, she wants to be successful, she wants to win. She always kind of puts into practice what us as coaches ask her to do or recommend she would do.
I think Rebecca's got her own style. She's a player with flair. What that means, she likes the ball at her feet. She likes to beat a player. She's extremely technical and skillful, which it's funny, we were talking about that next level. Every time I speak to a college coach, they're looking for them type of players that can play out wide, that are not afraid to run at a player and beat them. And she emulates everything they're looking for. She's exciting to watch. If you didn't know her and you just turned up to a park and watch a game, she's the type of player you'd go to watch.
Rebecca played center midfield for us this year, and that was really because of her knowledge for the game. She was able to control the field, speak to all of the girls and control their position on the field. Being that center position, she held a lot of the responsibility of our team. She was kind of the playmaker. She knew to come back and defend. She knew to push up and start playing forward.
I feel a coach can predict success at this age. It's a very difficult task to do because there are so many factors. I think she's got a long way to go in terms of improving to fulfill her potential.
One thing I think Rebecca needs to improve on, and this is just from my own point of view, is we mentioned before she's extremely skillful. She can beat a player. I want to see her now develop that speed where she can empower, where she can drive away from players, and that would make her more of a complete player. We tell players they need to be a student of the game. They need to educate themselves by watching more soccer. You know, there's a lot of resources out there now on the internet where you can find things where you can educate yourselves. I would say, look at players that play in your position. Look at them players and try and emulate them or learn from them. See what they do well, see what they do wrong. And then when it's your chance, whether it's at practice, games, can you start looking to put that into practice?
As a player, I would consider Rebecca's weakness probably her size. Right now, she has the foot skills that most girls don't have. She has a passion for the game that will help her learn and excel as a player, but her size is the only thing she doesn't really have control over. And right now, especially at the JV level, she's a 7th grader, so she was playing against 10th graders who were double her size. So that will be her greatest struggle.
On JV, a lot of people gave me names because I was the smallest and the shortest on the team. And they gave me nicknames such as Shorty.
Our goal for Rebecca within a year would obviously be to still be a main player within her team. We'd like to see her develop more as a leader. We'd like to see her develop as not only a player, as a person. We want to see her take a little bit more responsibility, and we want to see her continue that ambition she has.
If I were to give Rebecca a message, it would be to always continue her love for the game. It's obvious on and off the field, during practices and during games, that she loves the game and that she's practicing at home. She's constantly having a ball on her foot, and that has really helped her excel.
I see Rebecca 5 years from now. I certainly see her going to play some collegiate soccer. I mean, again, I mentioned before, the next couple of years are pivotal years for a player's development. I mean, the track she's taking right now, she's certainly moving in the right direction. I would say, where does she want to be in 5 years? You know, that's the big one. I think she's got all the ability in the world.
My goals for the future is to become a professional soccer player and play in the Olympics, and especially in the World Cup.
Right now, she's showing good signs to at least be able to break into the college game. And then, again, I always say at this age, you can do whatever you want. I mean, if she really has that drive and passion to get to that next level, you know, who am I to say she can't?